Hey everybody, Blue,
Delta.
and we're really excited to bring you our first deck profile for one of our very first retrain anime decks. So just to be clear on what that is, you guys have known us for a long time, and our whole goal is to make decks very faithful to the anime, the cards that were or were not played by the characters across various seasons of the show. So retrains, however, is Konami has taken the cards that we love from the anime, Magnet Warriors, Dark Magicians, Blue Eyes, Red Eyes, and so on, and made copies of them that have effects that are much more like modern competitive cards. The goal with this is to kind of bring new life to anime cards, because the original Dark Magician and Blue Eyes, as much as we love them, really could not touch modern tournaments. And what we've done is taken these retrain cards and some support for the characters and tried to make decks for them using primarily these retrained cards.
So to start off, we have Alpha, the electromagnet warrior. So you're going to see Alpha, Beta, and Gamma in here. Not the vanillas, like Blue was saying. Nice, powerful effects on these cards. Then we have Arisen Gaia, the Fierce Knight.
So one of our main things, though, for retrains is that a lot of these retrains, the stats are the same or similar, and the original monster's name is usually in there. Gaia is one who has had several versions printed, including a few unique support cards. So what we've done, though, is while trying to keep the deck as Yugi as possible, we have not overloaded it with Gaia monsters. Yes, there are so many Gaia monsters out there, but this is the one we chose to represent Gaia in this retrain deck.
Yeah, when it comes to these modern decks, we're definitely drawing a line between retrains and just like generic support. Lots of Gaia support, lots of Dark Magician support. It's not all going to make it in here. Archfiend's Advent. This was a retrain that came with the new Shining Sarcophagus cards, and it doesn't have Summon Skull's name anywhere in there, but this one we feel is pretty clearly a retrain.
Yeah, so most retrains have the original name in it. This one, maybe you could argue it's retrain adjacent or something, because they've done so many different versions of some of these cards, but we're using this as Summon Skull.
Right. We also sometimes, when we have multiple retrains for Gaia, are deferring to a more recent retrain or one that has the proper stats when another one may not, and arguably it's not quite the same. Artillery Capital Turtle. The only Capital Turtle modern retrain card we have.
This one was easy and straightforward. The thing is, we want to balance these out and make them feel like the character's deck without going too much on the support. It may go without saying that while trying to build a retrain deck, you will not see a lot of Dark Magician or Spellcaster support in this deck.
Berserkion, our new Valkyrion with the 3 new Magnet Warriors. And then Beta. Big-winged Berfomet. So that's right, the new Berfomet and Gazelle are in here.
I would say this deck closely resembles a lot of Yugi's Battle City cards in terms of, what we chose to do the retrain off of, but then definitely still monsters from other seasons as well.
Then we have Breaker, the Dark Magical Warrior. You'll see we got some retrains years ago, others within the last month, within the last year or so. Buster Blader, the Destruction Swordsman. Again, plenty of Buster Blader cards to pick from. We have to limit ourselves to the one that we feel fits our criteria the most accurately.
Now, this is not to say that at some point down the line we could diversify and focus more on the Buster Blader sub-archetype, the Gaia sub-archetype, but for, again, trying to give a very well-rounded Yugi feeling deck, we're just kind of trimming it to one of each of these guys.
Celtic Guard of Noble Arms from Dark Side of Dimensions.
Dark Side of Dimensions arguably was like the first time we really saw retrain decks, because there were several monsters that were either retrains or some kind of juiced up version of a fan favorite card. It's not a surprise that some cards from Dark Side of Dimensions made it into our retrain decks.
And by the way, guys, if you're not already, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell if you like the anime, you have some nostalgia for it, or you like these modern decks. Next up, Curse of Dragon, the Cursed Dragon.
Slightly redundant in the title there, but yeah, definitely vibing a retrain off that one.
Then we have one of the only non-modern retrain cards in this deck, Dark Magician Girl.
There is nothing that we would consider a really good retrain of Dark Magician Girl. There are some cards that are similar to her and have her artwork.
Apprentice Illusion Magician, we're looking at you.
Which we liked, but really we wanted to keep the original Dark Magician Girl for now.
And it lets us use another monster in here that's a retrain we were really fond of. Dark Magician, the Magician of Black Magic. Again, tons of Dark Magician monsters that could have been in here. This one is brand new. Like some of the retrains, its name counts as Dark Magician. It's got the right stats. It came out with the Shining Sarcophagus support.
And its name is... That name is Dark Magician, essentially the Dark Magician. So, you know, definitely really low-hanging fruit for the retrain naming.
Then we have Gadget Trio. Kind of all three of the gadgets retrained into one. Gamma, like we said. Then we have the retrained Gandora. Gandora G, the Dragon Destruction. There is a Gandora in Dark Side Dimensions too. Again, this one goes along with the Shining Sarcophagus support. It's more recent. Gazelle, the King of Mythical Claws. This, like the now Shining Sarcophagus support, but this with the Big Wing Burfman stuff, actually saw some competitive play recently. It was viable when it came out in tournaments. Then we have Magikaribo. There's a whole bunch of different Karibos. They really expanded on the Karibo archetype, like Gaia, like Dark Magician. Some of them look nothing like the original Karibo. This one is Karibo literally wearing Dark Magician's stuff. We felt like it was spot on for a retrain, and it's the card that works along with Dark Magician Girl.
So, arguably, Wing Karibo was really the first retrain of Karibo, but because Yugi gives that to Jaden and that became Jaden's pal, we didn't want to cross that line and felt that Wing Karibo was best left to Jaden, even though, again, that really was, you know, the first retrain.
Then we have more Marshmallow. It's more of the Marshmallow you love.
Which, you know, says Marshmallow wearing the Marshmallow glasses.
Sentry Soldier of Stone. Another one from Dark Side Dimensions. And by the way, guys, we are affiliated with TCG Player. If you want to buy some of your own cards, maybe to make an anime deck or a retrain deck, please consider using our TCG Player link in the description down below. Then we have Silent Magician Zero. Shining Sarcophagus. Makes sense to be in here, along with Silent Swordsman Zero.
There were a couple of Silent Swordsmen, Silent Magicians, but these are the newest ones, and we think most faithful to the anime effects. Plus, anything that works with that Shining Sarcophagus card really seems like it's on the same retrain beat, so...
Then we have Timaeus, the United Dragon, an effect monster that you can play in the main deck as a retrain of Timaeus.
And it was nice to include Timaeus in here because, you know, Waking the Dragons, you know, had a special place in a lot of people's hearts. It's nice to see that included here.
Blackluster Soldier, Legendary Swordsman. Again, this is the one that made the pick for us. Other people might include something else in their modern retrain deck, but this was what we felt like was the retrain that was most apt.
We liked the Super Soldier one, but felt this was the way to go.
Then we have Magician of Black Chaos Max. Again, fits the criteria.
We love the Chaos Max. We saw some of that in Kaiba's Dark Side Dimension deck, which, like I said, was prototype retrain. Shout out, though, to Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning, and Dark Magician of Chaos, the original retrains for those monsters, but they're old school, and we wanted the newest of new school.
Chaos Form, the ritual that goes along with the Max monsters, like Blue was talking about. Got Blue as Max, too. Chimera Fusion. It's going to be in there to make the new Chimera. Destruction Swordsman Fusion. So, you guys will see, right, when there's a new fusion, specifically for one of these archetypes where we're getting retrains, we want it in here.
So it's nice to see the archetypes get some fusion support. It does make it a little more complicated instead of running just a single polymerization for everybody, but these cards do help out.
Secrets of Dark Magic. A nice, looks like basically a new version of Dark Magic Ritual. Shining Sarcophagus. The Gold Sarcophagus retrain that we've referenced multiple times now. And then this one you'll see in multiple retrain decks. Spell card Monster Reborn.
Not only is this a retrain of Monster Reborn, it really does actually mimic some of the effect of the anime, notably the duel with Yugi versus Arcana, where they each play monster born at the same time during the battle phase, which we all know you really can't do, except this card now does that as a quick play spell.
They did that in Duel's Kingdom too. Oh, sorry, that was Reborn the Monster. My bad. Then we have Spiral Fusion, Gaia's Fusion. And here's Super Soldier Ritual for our Blackluster Soldier retrain.
Yes, we know we didn't choose the Super Soldier version, but we love that ritual art, though.
Yes. Ties That Bind. Ties of the Brethren's retrain. They do give us a fair bit of spells with new versions, too, which is nice. All right, on to some of the traps. Dark Magic Mirror Force. Yes, again, there are so many Mirror Force cards out there.
And we leaned in towards the one that was more Dark Magician orientated. So, now, like I said, we didn't want to make this a Dark Magician themed deck and support deck, but given the times we could choose a card where it's, overlapped with the Dark Magician essence, we did choose that.
Double Dust Tornado Twins. Kind of cool we even got a retrain of this. Reminds me of Hey Trunade. Magic Cylinder, which is in there for Magical Cylinders.
Nice to see some retrains for some of Yugi's most iconic trap cards.
Yes, that actually kind of work with that trap card. Very cool concept. Spiritual Swords of Revealing Light, another Dark Side of Dimensions card. Then we have our Stronghold retrain, Stronghold the Hidden Fortress, and that is Yugi's last main decked card.
Alright, so we're going to get to the fusions, which are a mix of old and new, because not all of the old fusions have been retrained.
First up is the Chimera Fusion that we've talked about now. Got to be in there, right? We could have done one of the Baphomet Fusion monsters, but he would make Gazelle and Baphomet in the original anime into Chimera. We want the same kind of thing to be kept to faith here. The Gazelle and the Baphomet make Chimera, not messing with too many of the other fusions.
But that doesn't mean you couldn't add that in your version, but we just like to keep ours a little bit lean.
Dark Paladin, until we get a retrain.
The original Dark Paladin still holds strong, even in the retrain decks.
Yeah, negating a spell, no joke. Gaia, the Magical Knight of Dragons.
So, really nice to see Gaia Curse of Dragon Fusion upgraded from the original. Gaia the Dragon Champion was super cool. It was great to see in Duel's Kingdom. Glad it came back later because it was a little bit, I'd say, noticeable missing in Battle City. Battle City had new fusions, but that classic Gaia and Curse of Dragon fusion is something I think we all remember from the oldest days of Yu-Gi-Oh! And this is a nice upgrade.
And finally, we have the Dark Magicians, which kind of like Dark Magician Go retrain. Not exactly, but we thought it'd be really cool to have it in here.
Definitely. So that they made a fusion with Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl as the Dark Magicians. Maybe not quite a retrain. And we said we weren't going to go super heavy with Dark Magician support on this one, but this is a card that just feels so Yugi. It had to be in this deck.
And guys, that was it for Yugi's modern retrain deck. Let us know what your favorite retrain monster, even if it's not one we chose, is in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for checking out that video.
And if you like this, we have more than 100 different character decks on our channel. So check out those for more of the same awesome content.
And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you'll get notified every time we have a new upload.